Taking you back to 1970, that's Greg Allman, his signature song, Midnight Rider, here on the Lake 105.1 FM. That was off the Allman Brothers Band album Idlewood South, and Greg Allman wrote the song, but he gave songwriting credit to Kim Payne, who was a roadie for the band, who came up with the classic line, "The road goes on forever." After Allman wrote the song, he started recording it right away, so with the help of Kim Payne, who was guarding their equipment, he broke into the band's Macon, Georgia recording studio in the middle of the night and went to work, figuring he should get some tracks down before he forgot them. That kind of sums up the 70s right there. You got to record, or short-term memory was not good back then. Back to the music now with Journey. Here's Any Way You Want It. Arlo Guthrie with City of New Orleans, 105.1 FM. My name is Chris. That was off his album Hobo's Lullaby, and kind of a convenient track there because it's about riding the rails. It's not about the city of New Orleans, it's about the train called the City of New Orleans, and it's still in operation. It's owned by Amtrak, and it's an overnight train between Chicago, Illinois, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and one can only imagine how many great blues guitarists and other artists have taken that trip. You know, you think about the Great Migration and all of those great black blues artists that came from the Mississippi Delta in New Orleans and went up to Chicago in the 50s, like Buddy Guy and people like that. So one of the more interesting train routes in this country, Arlo Guthrie crooning about it from 1972. Right now, here's those Canadian rockers, the Guess Who with No Sugar Tonight. 105.1 The Lake. My name is Chris. You know, one of the great songwriting teams in rock and roll history, that Motown duo of Ashford and Simpson. They were a husband and wife, and Nick Ashford was inspired to write this next song when he first moved to New York. He was struggling and was convinced that he wasn't going to let New York get the best of him. So he penned this track, and Diana Ross turned it into a #1 hit back in 1970. Here's Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Off the album of the same name, some people think, and I would agree with them, that's a breakout hit for Bruce Springsteen back in 1975. There's Born to Run here on the Lake. It's 105.1 FM. It was the first song that Springsteen wrote for studio production rather than a live performance. After recording 4 versions, one with a female chorus at a low-budget studio, he moved to a higher-end studio to finish it, refusing to release it until it was just right, and it has become one of those songs that has really stood the test of time 41 years later. Can you believe it? Back to the tunes now. Here's Billy Ocean picking up your Monday night with Caribbean Queen. Taking you back to 1969 with Paul McCartney, that's Maybe I'm Amazed. 105.1 FM, Chris Sheeman here with you. Paul McCartney wrote that song about his wife, Linda, who passed away. She died of breast cancer back in 1998. And Maybe I'm Amazed, written in 69, just after the Beatles broke up. McCartney credits Linda with helping him get through that difficult period. Back to the tunes now. Here's Heart, the First Ladies of Rock and Roll with These Dreams.